greetings to you. I want to give the Lord thanks for this opportunity that I'm able to share with you about my life and experience. I also want to use this opportunity to greet and thank Jody.ann.McFarlane for this opportunity to share with you. I talking about your identity and finding your identities is a critical one, and one that I would say that every young person, every individual often seek to do. So I want to capture my thoughts on these words, discovering your true identity. I want to capture my thoughts along those words, because the truth is that it's not an easy thing to discover your identity. It can be very exhaustive. It can be very enduring and gut wrenching sometimes to identify, to discover who you are. For some people, this discovery will lead them to places that makes them uncomfortable, because things about yourself will be revealed. But I want to pivot a lot of my thoughts along intermingling the word purpose, because for me that has been my experience in trying to find purpose. And I will quickly make reference to this book by the late Dr. Miles Monroe, Finding or In Pursuit of Purpose. And it speaks about finding who you are, and you're wrestling with your identity, discovering that sense of why are you here, why were you born. And one of the quotes I used to guide my life over the past maybe 5, 6, or 7 years, when I came in contact with this book, is the quote that says, "The greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without a reason." Yes, the greatest tragedy in life is not death, but life without a reason, life without purpose. And this has been my experience for the past 12 years, being a born again Christian. And hopefully, as I share some nuggets, they will bless you on today's program. So, if you feel a little lost right now, yes, if you feel a little lost where you are now, I say to you that you're not alone. I believe there are countless people, around who have experienced. Many people experience this at some point in their lives. The way out is to essentially find yourself. And so, and only you can do this. Nobody can do it for you. And so you cannot wait for someone else to find you and tell you who you are. And then you have to wrestle now with the question, or confront the question: where do you begin looking? Where do you begin looking? That's what we'll hope to answer on this episode and this program, with me sharing. So I'll be asking some very critical questions. Hopefully around 3 or 4 of them, and then sharing some of my life applications that I will have to do. So consider these three things. Firstly, one, recall your past experiences. Two, reflect on your present. And three, reach for your future. So those three things I'll be intermingling at the end. Recall your past experience, reflect on your present, and reach for your future. As we capture all of this in discovering your purpose, discovering your identity. So, what does it feel like to be lost? I wonder if somebody would want to answer that. Just type in the chat area and just say, tell what does it feel like to be lost? In any of the things that I will share now, because I will share some bullets with you. In any of these things that are familiar with you, it's really a sign that you are lost right now. Yes. So for example, if you don't have a strong sense of identity, you're more or less you're more or less lost. Yes, if you don't know your place in the world, perhaps you are indeed lost. If you struggle to envision a future that looks any different to your present, perhaps you are lost. If you feel discontent with parts of your life, if you feel like there's more to life than you're currently engaged with, if you feel a certain distance between you and people in your life, that perhaps you are indeed lost. If you no longer feel comfortable with the person you are, then perhaps you are lost. If when you go around people and how they behave and how they act affect you in a negative way, then perhaps you need to find out who you are, because those who are around you are not who you are. So what does lost look? What does it look like to feel to be lost? What does it feel like to be lost? And then the second question I want to pose to you is, why might you be struggling with your identity? Why are you struggling with your identity at this point? Because the truth is, identity is identity is not something that people feel the moment they are able to recognize themselves in the mirror. It is something you discover, and this is not done like in an instant. This is done piece by piece as you journey through life. So discovering your identity does not happen overnight. Yes, discovering your identity, finding your niche, finding your purpose. It doesn't happen overnight, but it's a progressive journey. It's a progressive revelation. It's a progressive discovery. And yet it can be easy to confuse what is actually you and what you think you are. Can I say that to somebody again? It can be easy to confuse what is actually you and what you think you are. So for one, you are not an isolated being. You are part of an elaborate, interwoven, intermingled system of people. And these people are different. They share different beliefs. They have different ideals. They have different entities and different pledges and alliances. No, no, no. You have to find yourself in the midst of all of that, in all of the different philosophical beliefs and all of the theological beliefs that are out there. You have to find yourself inside of that. Yes, this society that you grew up in can put ideas into your head about the type of person you are. And so one of the true one of the fact is that um many of us we are influenced by our society. It is not that we have discovered ourselves. It is a fact that we have allowed society, we have allowed our surroundings, we have allowed our environments to dictate who we are. And then we say, okay, I am this and I am that. No, I think you have to do a deliberate search. You have to do a deliberate introspection and find out who I am. Who am I? Who are you? You know? And so, as we go along, I want us to wrestle with those questions. And so, and identity is not, further, identity is not fixed, is not a fixed thing. It is not a fixated thing, because the truth is, we morph and we grow and who you were 10 years ago is not who you are now. And so you grow over time. Yes, it is constantly changing and being molded by your experiences. And I say to you cannot be divorced from your experiences. you are identified with the experience because a part of your experiences make up who you are. The truth is, you do not allow your experience to define you, but you allow the experience to become a part of you, and then in all of that, you try to rationalize it, wrestle with it, and then out of your perhaps you have an experience of suffering, perhaps you would have an experience of pain and heartache. Out of your pain births purpose. Can I say that to somebody again? Out of your pain and your agony and your dark experiences birth who you are. Though you are not defined by the negative aspects of such, but it has birthed your identity. I must say to you, I must warn you that I'm a preacher. But essentially, what I'm saying is that, sometimes this process is slow and it is gradual. And that is why I say to people, don't be too hard on yourself. Sometimes we are too hard on ourselves and we knock ourselves too much. So in finding this identity, it is a slow progress. You have to gradually go there. And another time, certain events can shift things dramatically. So if you recently gone through something that has made you question how you are living your life, it can leave you feeling at odds with the person you currently see when you look into the mirror. And so as you move through the different stages of life, you might feel you need to renew your identity so that it better reflects where you are and who you want to be at this point in your life. So this is where for many people, where the classic midlife crisis comes into play, because and the somewhat new quarter life crisis for some people that many of us as young people seem to have in these days. We have to try to assess and assimilate all of that. And so the next question I want to pose to you is, what are you looking for? Yes, what are you looking for in this process? It can help you to define whether you want to, one, find your true self for the first time. Two, find your new self. And then thirdly, find yourself again. Because if you feel as though you have never really known who you truly are, it comes down to forming identity from scratch. And that's the truth. And so this requires now the most soul searching and work to really hone in on your unique combination of traits and belief and desires. I wonder if I'm making sense to anybody today. Because one other thing is that, um, as we try to assess and make that journey in identify who we are, we have to try to assimilate all of this. So here is it. Have you gone through a shift in your mindset and or your worldview, perhaps due to a silent event or because you have reached a new stage of your life? And if so, the process is different. It involves deciding which things you'd like to change about your life, and what do you want to drop from your life, and what do you want to add to your life. Yes, or do you feel like with you have lost touch with who you are? And so, did you once have a good understanding of what really mattered to you? And if this is the case, the goal is to find the ways that you may have drifted from the person you are, so that you can find back or get back to the point, or get back to that point where you can know who you really are. And so, why the advice that I will say no might is applicable to all of these situations, and the way that you choose to prioritize the steps may be different depending on your circumstances. And so the next question is, as we move forward in this journey, I want to propose to you is, what does it mean to find yourself? I wonder if you're writing down these questions, because no, the question you're not confronted with is what does it mean to find yourself? You see, my friends, the idea of finding yourself is quite abstract. Yes, it's an abstract thing. It can become a map in finding who you are. So the very idea of finding yourself is quite abstract. What does it actually mean to find yourself? Well, in a good way to define it looks back at the things we mentioned earlier. Yeah, the things we mentioned earlier, and because those things describe um, a person who is lost. And so the process of finding yourself at one is one that should hopefully reverse each of those statements, and turn those statements around into more of a positive definition or positive outlook. So you should end up with a strong sense of identity. When you turn all of those things around, I mentioned earlier, then over time, you recognize that you're on your way in finding who you are. Um, so things like um, if you don't have a strong sense of identity, then you should develop one. If you don't know your place in the world, you should find your place in the world. If you struggle to envision a future that looks any different from at your present life, then you try to turn it around. If you feel discontent with parts of your life, you try to turn it around so you can feel comfortable. I wonder if somebody's getting that. If you feel like there's more to life one than what you're actually living now, then perhaps try to turn it around so that it can become what you want to engage with. If you no longer feel comfortable with the persons around you, then you need to choose some new friends. Yeah, sometimes you lose so you can gain. And that's the truth. Sometimes you lose some friends so you can gain some good ones, and perhaps the present friends that you have now are not those that will help you to find your true identity. Because the truth is, you should feel engaged with life as though you are choosing your path rather than letting it choose you. You should feel connected with the people in your life, perhaps even with the wider community, your college, your schoolmates, your colleagues, your co-workers. You should feel comfortable with the person that you are, and the ways you think and act, and how you treat others. Especially, it means to reach a point where you are able to move through life with confidence, where you can stop doubting yourself at every turn, where you are guided by your intuition, your deep discernment. Yes, where you embrace who you are rather than trying to deny it. And so one of the trouble is that many of us, we don't embrace our identity, and we rather to deny who we are. And one of this account I recognize in scripture is with the account of his name is slipping me, Jacob. Yes, Jacob, and we know Jacob and Esau and the whole thing that they experienced. But Jacob, who he was a trickster. He was a cheat. the Bible says that he was a supplanter. And so he would cheat out his brother Esau from his birthright. He would deceive people. He was conniving and deceptive. Yes? And so the truth is that Jacob had to come to himself. And so when we read in Genesis, can't remember the chapter now, but when we read, because the story is found in Genesis, and when we read Genesis in that particular account, the Bible says that God allowed an angel to wrestle with Jacob. Wrestle with Jacob so much. Matter of fact, it took all night that he was wrestling with the angel. And then the angel said, it's about to be daybreak. Let me go. And Jacob said, I will not let you go. And the Bible said that the angel touched the socket of the side of Jacob. But one of the things in that whole experience that Jacob experienced was that the angel asked Jacob, who are you? Who are you? That was a confronting question to Jacob. Who are you? And I believe we need to ask ourselves, who am I? And Jacob had to say, I am Jacob. I am a supplanter. I am a trickster. I am a deceiver. I have deceived people. But the exchange that happened, because there was an exchange, there's a transformation with Jacob, because the angel's experience with Jacob, divinity touched humanity, heavenly touched earthly. Yes, God touched man. The immortal touched the mortal. I wonder if somebody's getting that. And so, with that experience, that wrestling, out of that, the Bible says that the angel told Jacob that he will no longer be called Jacob, but Israel. So no longer would Jacob be called Jacob, but Israel. His name was changed. From the trickster, from the deceiver, to Israel. Yes? And when we read, and that is deep, and I don't have time, I have like 6 minutes to go. But when we read that, we find a conglomerate of great and massive things. But coming back to those three characteristics that I shared earlier with you, recalling past experience and reflecting on your present state and reaching for the future, in just illuminating all of these quickly, I want us to understand that if we're going to find our identity, if we're going to discover our identity and find our purpose, then we have to recall on our past experiences. Because the truth is, our past experiences has a lot to do and to say to us and where we are at this present time. And I want and I hope somebody is understanding this today, because the truth is we cannot deny who we are, or rather who we were, and our experiences, the experiences of the past. It is not that we are going to be bogged down by where we came from, but there are life lessons that we can take from our past experience. So recall your past experience. Your life up until now contains many lessons about who you are as a person. And so something as simple as recalling what you most enjoyed doing as a child can give you insights into the type of person you are now. Unearth unearthing all of those experiences. And so here is this. Did you enjoy playing? Did you enjoy playing certain instruments or any musical type of thing? That one thing that you no longer play, you no longer utilize. What was it? What was it like about it that attracted you to it? What was it, the learning process and mastering the technique? Was it the creativity involved in improvising, um, to tune it up, or and to getting in tune with it? And then, the next question is, did it help you to forget your troubles and lose yourself in the moment? Another approach you can take is to look at those things you are most proud of in your life, so far. And then once again, ask yourself, what was it about that achievement that made you so proud? Because, you see, my friends, one final way that your past can shine a, a spotlight on the person you are, or wish to be, is by analyzing your regrets, your guilts, yes, your past mistakes. Because what you have done, what you have done, that to what you have, or what have you done rather, what have you done that you really wish you really hadn't? Because and I'm trying to think about this, because some of the times we we do things that we wish we hadn't. That's what I'm trying to say. We we engage in some things that we wish we had not. But what can this teach you about your core values? How do you act if you face with a similar situation today? But not only should you recall your past experience, I wanted to quickly now reflect on your present experience. Because as you make that transition in reflection, and recalling the past, you will able to find meaning, find root, find sense of what that which you engage in then, and how it have affected you now. Because the truth is, sometimes when we, in our past experience, we were we got exposed to certain life, we got exposed to certain experiences that is now affecting us now, and we have to find ourselves in all of that now. So you have to reflect on the now, reflect on your present state. How has those past experiences affected you now? Are you defining yourself by those negative thoughts, those negative experiences? Or you're trying to turn those experiences around to so that you can define who you are? No. You see, my friends, in pursuit of purpose is not easy. In pursuit of finding identity, in discovering who you are, is not easy. But a part of recalling your past experiences, um and reflecting on your now, I wanted to reach now for your future. Reach for your future, because in looking to the future, you'll able to assess, who you are. So this your past experience, recalling your past experience, takes in your childhood, your adolescence years, your young adult, into who you are now. And then you try to assimilate all of that and who you are, so that you can look to the future. You can position yourself for the future. You can align yourself for the future. Because part of knowing who you are is having a clear vision. Part of knowing who you are is having a clear vision of how you'd like your future to look. Daydreaming about a more peaceful and relaxing future, or longer longevity of life. Yes, thinking about traveling the world. Those things reveal what your priorities are going forward. And so this in turn says something about the person you are now. Because where you're trying to look towards, it has everything to do where you are now. You're trying to, that some of us, we try to we try to morph out a future, map out a future. And so the truth is, the future you're trying to map out um, has everything to do where you are now. Yes? I wonder if somebody's getting this. So ask yourself what you'd like to do, what you'd like to be doing as you move into the next stage of your life. What are the underlying reasons that you wish for these things? How does this translate into your current beliefs, values, and behaviors? My friends, I hope these thoughts were of benefit to you as we sought to discover our identity, as we sought to not only discover our identity, but to discover purpose. I hope these thoughts and all of these ramblings can you can assimilate yourself in all of this and find meaning and find a sense of purpose and find your identity in all of this. God bless you richly, and thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for listening to what I would have to share with you. Blessings.